Hey, Weather Warriors. In this video, we're talking about a potential uptick in severe weather across much of the United States as we head towards the late part of April into May. There's a couple of signals that I'm going to be talking about in this episode. I'm going to reveal dates, tornado potential, and much more. But before we begin, if you're a weather enthusiast, I invite you to subscribe below if you like detailed, educational, long-range forecast breakdowns, much more so than you would see on TV. And also, comment below what is the nearest city of the strongest tornado on record. I'm going to pick one winner and feature them in the next episode, give them a little shout out. And also, guys, I opened up a Twitter. I haven't used it for a few years, but I'm going to open this up and start using it again. We're going to be posting storm chasing updates, forecasting updates for you guys, just general stuff that I've been up to. You can check my Twitter out there. Follow it out, Cody Irvin WX at Cody Irvin WX. That would be my Twitter account. So let's get right into it here, guys. This is the tornado count for this year so far. This is actually as of April 1st. The green line is average. The yellow line and above is much above average. And you can see that we are near that yellow line. And that's not including the dozens of tornadoes, nearly 100 tornado reports that occurred just a few days ago in the southeast. So you're going to see this jump way up. It's a much above average tornado season so far. Will that continue? Here is the thing that we're really looking at right now. It's the Gulf of Mexico. These are the sea surface temperature anomalies. This yellow blue area is about average. Then your yellows and reds are above average, and your blues are below average in terms of temperatures across the ocean here. And you can see the Gulf of Mexico is hot. We're talking temperatures 2 to 4 degrees above average. It's an absolute sauna in the Gulf of Mexico. That could increase the amount of moisture supply for severe weather so far, or for the rest of the season here. And so far, we've already seen that. There's been pools of moisture and instability in the southeastern United States. That's going to continue to ride to the north and affect the rest of the country, east of the Rockies, obviously. So this can increase the moisture and instability potential for severe weather and also tornadoes. Another thing we're looking at is the potential for a much more active hurricane season once hurricanes get into the Gulf or develop in the Gulf and go to the United States. So that is a concern as well. But the good news, at least part of the good news, is this is the ENSO index, so the El Nino La Nina, about 0.2 degrees and above average temperatures in the Pacific Ocean and the El Nino ENSO area indicate El Nino, and we're trending in that direction. You can see that we're seeing a slight increase in temperatures from about January until about now, and we are really in El Nino territory now. Now, El Nino type severe weather seasons, I've actually I found a little graph here that shows this. The right is La Nina seasons, and the left is El Nino seasons for tornadoes and hailstones. You can see tornadoes here less frequent for much of the country, especially the south central United States. Hailstones much less frequent for Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri. The La Nina, you see, is the exact opposite. It's a much above average tornadoes and hail in the south central United States. It doesn't really affect the far southeastern United States, but this is really effective in the south central plains. So far, the south central plains haven't been terribly active. It's mostly been the eastern plains into the southeastern United States. So perhaps that is verifying a bit. But the issue, you can say it's an El Nino, but the issue is, again, the Gulf is extremely warm. So it's entirely possible that this will offset things and even increase the severe weather potential and make really everywhere much above average. But the general pattern, and we're going to look at right now, and then we'll look at day by day here. This is the CPC Climate Prediction Center 6 to 10 day outlook. You can see, other than the Midwest here, above average precipitation for pretty much everyone except the Midwest, upper Midwest, and the far western United States over the next 6 to 10 days. Lots of precipitation, especially for the southeastern United States. The 8 to 14 day, almost the entire country except for the southwestern United States, with a good chance of above average precipitation. The 1 month outlook has the southeastern and central plains on above average precipitation, and the 3 month outlook for the rest of spring into summer here, much above average precipitation potential for the Midwest, and then maybe a slight chance, as you get into the east half of the United States, and then below average in the west coast of the United States. Notice it really didn't affect the southern plains all that much. A lot of the activity, I believe, is going to be this year for severe weather is going to be in the Midwest and also in the eastern plains and potentially the central plains. We actually might see it not quite as active here in the western parts of the southern plains. It looks to be the trends if you were to look at the long range Ordelios here. But again, with that crazy Gulf we have, I do think that most areas will favor at least average, maybe above average in terms of severe weather. The 3 month temperature outlook, much above average. So you overlay warm temperatures with lots of moisture, it's going to be pretty active across the eastern half of the United States. So that's going to be your climate outlook. Now, let's look over the next couple of weeks here. What we're looking at is, wait, what in the world is this gizmo? Well, this is we call them the chicklets. Okay, this is the CFS model. Over here is a bunch of runs of the CFS model. It's each day from March 1st through now about the 15th or so. This is a single run, and you can see each run goes out, what is that, about a month and a half or so? So each time it runs, it goes out about a month. The black line is present. This is prior, and then the right is the future here. And the areas you want to watch here are these X's in colors. The colors indicate supercell composite parameter 1 plus and at least like 800 or so grid points in the United States. So essentially, when you get several grid points indicating that there's a supercell composite of one or more, it means that there's an elevated severe weather potential across the United States, and it's more widespread the darker red you get. So when you see these yellows and reds and X's, that indicates potentially the increased probability of severe weather. This is the current model run up here. This is the furthest back model run on the first. So we'd want to look at maybe the top several model runs in particular, and we want to also see vertically where there's a bunch of consistency in these X's. And you can see that we're on the 21st here, past several runs, and then the past few runs, really all the way out to the 30th, indicating a very sharp uptick in severe weather, particularly in this period right here, which is around the 19th through maybe about the 30th or so. And then it also increases as we head towards early to mid-May. So that's something we're going to use. And what I'm going to do here is show you the long-range forecast on the GFS. You're going to see how close this thing lines up. This is the upper level jet stream, guys, and you can see that this is right now. As we head towards around the 19th, you can see the southwesterly flow. This is important for severe weather. When you get these little blips, these are shortwave troughs. When there's shortwave troughs, there's typically energy in the atmosphere, especially when you get this divergence. It kind of causes bending in the upper levels, stretches the atmosphere up in the upper levels, and lifts at the surface. So that really that gives you your little tiny lows at the surface. And so you got one here, you got one here. There's southwest flow. There could be some isolated severe weather in the southern plains here as we head towards the 19th and 20th. You can see this wave amplifies as it moves into the southern plains in the southeastern United States around the 20th, 19th and 20th. So there's probably going to be some severe weather around then. And then it takes a break, but look what's coming out in the southwestern United States. We got another trough. And that's around the 21st, 22nd. You can see it moves into the southern plains, gives the southern plains and southeast another shot at severe weather just a couple days later between the 21st and 23rd. Now, specific days will change, but it's the pattern we're really looking at here. Then we get a decent sized trough that moves in and gives the central plains a good chance of severe weather as we head towards the 23rd to 26th or so. That turns into a cutoff low. So what is the cutoff low? Well, it breaks off the jet stream. So you saw that it was connected to the jet stream up here, but now it's its own low low. And we get these, you can get rain to circulate for days. It just kind of sits and wobbles around because it's not connected to the main jet stream. However, the first few days of these things, you can get severe weather, or the first day or two of these things. But after a while, these things kind of lose intensity, and it's mostly just light rain showers that circulate around it. So typically, after the first 1 or 2 days, they'll lose severe weather potential. You see that you have a jet still, but it's very unlikely that you're going to get severe weather that far out. And then as we head towards the 30th and beyond, another trough moves into the East Coast. Could be some more severe weather out in the east later in the month. If you look at the precipitation here, or excuse me, the dew points here, you can see most of the dew points, the 60 dews of the blues, you want at least often 60 plus for that severe weather. As we head towards the 19th and 20th, you can see it builds in the southeastern United States. Then a cold front moves through. If that cold front is weak, The second surge is going to be very strong, and it could get up into the central and southern plains. That cold front might keep moisture scoured into the southern plains, as you see here on the 23rd and 24th. Another setup across the southeastern United States, low pressure system sitting over Arkansas that moves out. Again, it depends how strong these cold fronts are. If they're weak, that second, that next short wave that moves through, usually that moisture rides up a lot further north. And you can see that happening here all the way up into Nebraska and Iowa and the Midwest, Illinois. Then you got Missouri too, around the 25th through the 26th. That moves into the Midwest and even East Coast. So if we have a weak enough cold front, they're not too overpowering, you can get this moisture to ride up even into the central and eastern United States. So something we're going to watch. Again, the general uptick in storm activity is going to be really affecting the eastern southern plains, potentially a couple of days in the central plains, and especially the southeastern United States through the rest of April into obviously early May, and then probably farther north in the central and midwestern United States as we head towards May, probably an above active severe weather season for that area. So lots of crazy stuff. Now, one other thing we're going to look at, we might make a video on this. This is the tornado yesterday, a couple of days ago in the southeastern parts of Mississippi. You see that streak right there. Unfortunately, this is a satellite image showing clouds. That little streak is a damage path of a tornado. So, it's showing up on satellites. That is a pretty nasty scene there. And the data actually came out here for those two tornadoes that we actually tracked on the live stream here. The first tornado that moved through just southeast of Collins, north of Laurel, was 68 miles width, not wide, not the tornado, but it moved 68 miles. So you're talking an hour on the interstate. So pretty crazy there. EF4 was the rating, and it was potentially more than 2 miles wide, at least 2 miles wide. This is going to be setting potentially some records, at least in the top 5 or so tornadoes. Obviously, El Reno is, believes that's sitting at number one. Then we got that second tornado that moved through. That moved 82.5 miles, EF3, and that was a 1 mile wide tornado as well. So these things were massive tornadoes, very strong, even violent, and they moved a long, long distance with those really fast storm speeds. So I might make a video on this event in more detail, kind of documentary style. So stay tuned for that. And also, again, check my Twitter out. We'll be posting more updates than I would on this channel on Twitter and just general stuff. Cody Irvin WX. It's at Cody Irvin WX. So check that out. Just opening that up now. And also, again, if you like these detailed forecasts, click that subscribe button below. I'll be making more of these. Share this with friends. Smash that thumbs up button. Hope you have a great day, and we'll see you soon.